Okay, let's take a look at what we're going to be unboxing and installing today. The John Deere LP22861, which is 25-gallon sprayer. So this will be going on the X370 John Deere lawn tractor. All right, let's get it open and see what we got. All right, we got the boom. And we got some foam. Probably won't be using that much longer. Down inside of here, there's some nuts and bolts. Looks like a lot of stuff there. Somebody was nice enough to take the lid off, throw everything out of there. Yeah, she's empty. Truth be told, I've been in there and got the instructions out also. They were inside the tank. So let me get the tank out and we'll take some more. So really a pretty compact kit. The tank is assembled with the pump and hoses there. I'm gonna need to assemble these two flanges and put the boom on. This little bracket here will go on the mower itself and basically support everything. I'm doing this basically following the instructions. Now the first thing we want to do is lay this out 13.5 inches apart. I'll fine tune that once we get the rods in. You're gonna need a couple things. One, tape measure. Two, 3/4 inch wrench, and I'm using a 3/4 inch ratchet, but you could use 2 3/4 inch wrenches if that's what you have. All right, so let's get these rods in, get that separated, 13.5. We'll tighten this down a little bit. The one thing I want to tell you, if you're doing this along, if you're installing one of these while I am, these flange bolts, focus, they go in the bottom where these slots are. That's what you're going to put those flange bolts down in the bottom, both sides. You got two of these. This thing's meant to swivel somewhat through there. I don't know that I like that idea. I've seen some people online talking about it. And once you get this thing loaded down with 25 gallons, 25 times 8, that's a couple hundred pounds. And we're looking at this thing upside down right now. So that's the top, and that wants to pull out and slide down on that swivel. So we have to come up with some kind of idea to resolve that. All right, let's get it together. So the way I'm measuring this, they want the inside of these flanges to be 13.5 inches, which will make that 13.5 to the outside of these two nuts. So I'm basically kind of sizing it up so that the nuts are evenly spaced on the rod. And we are pretty darn near 13.5. Might turn that into half a screw, but wait till I get that all tightened down, then we'll make the final adjustment. So when you're putting these nuts and washers on, don't forget your lock washer. Last thing you want is to have this thing falling apart out in the middle of Timbuktu. That would be bad. There are no lock washers for the flange though. Those are self-locking. Okay, the bracket's all assembled, and we got 13.5 inches, top and bottom. I'll just tell you to trust me on that third one, but it is. Okay, what's next? Let's put some, we're gonna put the hose together. It's all boom assembly to the frame, so let's get. All right, so now we're gonna put the boom on. Make sure we have these nozzles facing down. The boom is gonna ride on top of the flange, so there's no weight on the screws. Screws are just gonna be holding in place. These fittings that are in here, these are all plastic. Be careful with those. Don't sit on them, don't stand on them, don't crush them. Don't get in here and booger that all up. You mess up your nice brand new sprayer. All right, the two screws that hold this in are going to be the ones that have the Phillips. You're going to have plenty of 5/16 screws in there. These two Phillips head are for the boom. All right, boom is attached. Screws are nice and tight. Next on the list is to secure the tank assembly to the flange. So So we're going to put the tank on there. We got plenty of screws over there to hold that in place. They are asking you to use a torque wrench to 10 foot-pounds, 120 inch-pounds. This is an inch-pound torque wrench here. I have a great big half-inch torque wrench in there. I don't trust it down to 10 pounds. It's a 250-pound max. Matter of fact, I don't even think it goes down to 10. I think it starts around 30 or 40. So 10 times 12, 120. I got this one set to 120, so we'll tighten it up with that, and we'll get that on there. Okay, let's get the tank mounted to the frame. You know, without a little something to support this frame, you know, it's down on the ground. So I found a little bucket in there. Good bucket. Put that on there, get you some room. Makes the two sides more level. Well, makes them level. Now we'll put this tank on now, remembering what's front and what's back. The eyelet down there, that's front. We want to put this tank on with the sprayer to the front. So as it sits on the machine, your cap, which is big enough to stick my head in, be to the left, pump will be to the right. 25 gallons, you'll be able to read that from the back. All right, let's get these couple screws on here, see if I can't make you guys seasick with the way I'm holding all this. There we go, there's one. And there's number two. Where's the second hole? There we go. All right, got the torque wrench right here. If we get these torqued down, got the other side on, and we'll be ready to go to the next step. All right, it's starting to actually look like a sprayer. The last step with the sprayer is to install the hose coming out of the pump to the boom. So this back hose has a shutoff valve in it. The end will be loose. I'm gonna pop that right on there. I'm gonna pop that right on there, and we'll be all done with these hoses. That is a snug connection. So I'd advise you to spit on that barb first. That's what I did. Put a little lube on there. Like I said, just spit on your finger, wrap it around that barb. That barb's going to be tight, so be careful putting that on, that you do not damage your T-fitting, or it'll be a trip to Home Depot to fix that. All right, now we get the tractor to put the brackets on the tractor. So before I start with this bracket, I have that bracket already on there. Now this is the bracket for the bagger, but this thing comes right off. Pull that off, and we'll pull this one off. And at that point, these washers come off, pins come out, and it falls on the floor. So that can't be any easier. That was all of about 35 seconds to get that off. I was a little worried that was going to be a bitch to get on and off, but that's not going to be a problem. In my case, I don't have four-wheel steer on this tractor. So there are a mess of larger washers that are provided for that installation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of those washers just behind these pins, give them a little more support. Now what I've also done is ran these hex nuts on ahead of time, just to find a good spot where that pin is a little more secure and not just slopping around. And it lets you find out where those nuts need to be. So at this point, put that on there. We'll run those lock washers and nuts on the back, and that'll be about that for that. So one other thing I would say real quick, when you're putting your pins in, keep the holes horizontal. If the hole's up in, vertical, you're gonna have a hell of a time getting that pin in and out. But just when you're snugging it up, make sure those holes are horizontal. So you can see how that eye needs to go in. It's got to face backwards, face to the rear of the machine. So what I would recommend is what I did. These lower nuts on both sides, leave them a little bit loose so that can move. Get your tank and everything in the brackets, you know, hanging back here. Put that flat against the frame of the mower. Then go ahead and snug these up. Now when you tighten this one up on the right, you need to tighten it from the inside. If you try to turn this on the outside, it's going to turn that eye and you're going to be out of position. So turn it from the inside. That'll make the eye want to turn itself down, which just goes right into the frame and there's nowhere for it to go. The other side, no problem. You can maybe do the other side first. That'll get it tight and then come do this side. The other side you can tighten up from the outside and it will just turn itself into the frame and not go anywhere. Other than that, I did have to loosen these up. I had them out here and I had to loosen them up and get it here to get it in. Now that might have just been because I didn't have that eye on in the right correct direction the first time around. I'm going to try to loosen them up and see if I can get that forward. I don't know if that's going to help right now because everything I've seen shows that the sprayer, the tank of the sprayer is so heavy, it ends up like this real quick. So you're actually going to need to, I'm going to need to get a little spacer and put inside that slot so that this will stay down here. All right, on to getting the electrical hooked up, which I think is a snap, but if there's anything there, I'll be sure to video it. Okay, battery's all hooked up. And wire tied here, keep it out of the way. When this is disconnected, it'll be hanging there, but shouldn't hit anything. If it did, the negative is the side exposed, so I don't think any problem there. I might have to loosen that up, push that down so that that'll close. Yeah, I'm going to do that. But other than that, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it or not. This pump's pretty quiet. And she is coming on. So everything's working there. Okay, it's all completed. You know, the wire's hanging around there. I'm really not sure that I like that, but for now it's going to have to do. I think at some point what I might do is I might purchase that switch that fits this little cutout and make a switch there for it. Run these wires underneath the frame and all so that they're not hanging out loose. It does look kind of nasty. Everything's on. It's looking good. It's running good. I haven't run any water through it. We'll do that later. What else? Oh, I get the front bracket for it. The weight bracket. Put them on. It's not because the unit's going to flip over backwards. That's for traction. And it keeps some weight on the front wheels. If you're sideways on a hill, it's very likely that you're going to, you could lose traction with the front end, which that could be a problem. So what is it, 40 pounds? That's 160 pounds hanging off the front. That's basically about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Anything I did or didn't do that you want to explain, I'd be glad to put it in the comments. All right, thanks a lot. In case you're interested to know, this is my bagger frame. The two of these are not compatible. I can get that bagger frame to sit on the pins like it's supposed to, but the hole here just does not line up. These nuts inside are interfering with the bracket here, and it's just not gonna go back together. I was that close. I mean, if you can see that hole, it's maybe 3/8 of an inch is all I need, and it would fit. John Deere needs to look at that. I don't know. I might be able to loosen that up. Maybe that bolt will come up a little bit. I see a little space there. Looks like it would work. If it works, it would work. I'll check that out and see. But if you don't hear back, the two are not compatible. So for all the trouble it was to take that bracket off, removing these pins and washers, I just took it off. I'll throw these in the little toolbox. They'll just travel with me, and that'll go with the sprayer. Okay, thanks for watching until the end. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave it below. If there's any questions about what I did or did not do, be sure to let me know. I'll do my best to answer it. Till the next time, you guys stay safe.